Hi everyone. Today we're going for a barbecue treat. We're going to be cooking ribs with a homemade orange barbecue sauce. Now I don't like eating the membrane fatty skin on the bottom of the ribs, so I'm trying to remove it. Bear with me here since my knife work is pretty horrendous and I keep moving the cutting board while I'm cutting it. But anyways, after I remove all the skin on the bottom of the ribs, we're going to be seasoning the ribs with 5 spices. Just salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and smoked paprika. So make sure you mix the spices really well and then rub it into the ribs. Give it a good rub down on both sides. After seasoning the ribs, we're actually going to start baking, but before that, I read online that it was recommended to put a little bit of apple cider vinegar underneath the ribs so that it will become more tender as you cook it. I didn't have that. I had rice vinegar, so I used a little bit of that, and I think it turned out okay. Your initial bake time will be 335 for 90 minutes. Now it's time to move on to the special sauce. So we're going to add in minced garlic, onions, a lot of tomato sauce because that's the base for the barbecue sauce. Next, we're going to add in a little bit of butter. This helps kind of make the sauce a little more creamy. Another thing we're going to add in is honey. This is in replacement for brown sugar to make the sauce sweet. We're also adding in some Worcester sauce, and I found this sriracha mustard dip that I added into the sauce. It gives it a little more bold flavor, a little more tanginess. And finally, we have the secret ingredient, which is sweet orange marmalade. This thing is going to make our tangy barbecue sauce have that deep, rich orange flavor, bringing the sweet tanginess level to 100. We're going to be bringing the sauce to a light boil on medium heat, then reducing to medium low to continue cooking it very slowly. This entire cooking process will take about 40 minutes. Around 10, when there's about 10 minutes left, you want to actually add some herbs. I use basil, parsley, and bay leaves to enhance the flavor and smell of the sauce. After the sauce is done cooking, I just gave it a light run through the strainer so that I can remove some of the larger particles of the sauce that did not dissolve while I was cooking. Didn't want to baste my ribs with sauce that was still chunky. After the initial cooking period, we're gonna bring the ribs out and just spray the top with cooking spray, then cook it again for 15 minutes at 345. After that's done, we're going to take the ribs out again, and this time we're actually replacing the baking tray with new foil and removing any juices. We're finally going to start basting the ribs, baste the back first and cook it for another 10 minutes, then flip it over, baste the top this time and cook it for 5 minutes. And we're going to repeat that basting process for another 5 minutes. And you can even do this a third time. I didn't feel like I needed to, so I basted it one final time. And for the final baking period, you're actually going to want to broil it to make sure that the sauce caramelizes. And voila, you got your finished ribs with orange sweet barbecue sauce. Looks delicious. Had to put on gloves because the ribs were so hot out of the oven. And I took off my glasses because it was going to splash. But there's a close up, and oh yeah, look at him go to town on those ribs. He loves it. Hmm, damn. Looking at recording this voiceover reminds me of when I actually ate those ribs, and it was freaking amazing. That orange marmalade barbecue sauce was so sweet and tangy. It added so much flavor to the ribs. I'm not joking, you gotta try it out. You know, obviously one rib wasn't good enough for me, so here I'm cutting out another one. And you can see how good, nice and sauced up it is. I dunked it in additional sauce because, you know, it's just so good. And I'm gonna go to town on this second rib. To be honest, I actually ate like about 2/3 of the entire rack in one sitting. It was just too good to pass up, and I had the rest for leftovers the next day. But once again, thank you for watching. These ribs and this orange barbecue sauce was fire. I hope you guys have a great day.